Hello everyone, Gary here, day 14 of our journey of 25 days, raising awareness of mental health issues and maybe discussing ways to help with mental health. Today I want to talk about mindfulness, and the reason why that's sort of come up, it's sort of a fairly popular phrase at the moment, mindfulness. Along with well-being, which is great. It's out there. People are talking about mindfulness. People are talking about well-being. People are talking about that sort of stuff in relation to good mental health, hopefully. But what does mindfulness actually mean? We hear it banded around. We see it. I've seen a huge amount of free online courses, instant relief from anxiety. Download this free PDF that will give you 20 ways to, start your mindfulness, etc. Blah blah blah. So here's probably not a new thing for you to listen to, but here they're not free, okay? And there's great stuff out there. They will ask you for your email address, they'll ask you for your name, etc., which you will then go onto a list and you will get chances to have more stuff. And it is part of a marketing strategy to get you onto a list so that they can give you an opportunity to look at their stuff. There's great stuff out there. And, you can take yourself off the list at any point and you can sort of go and get your free stuff. But, the old adage that there's no such thing as a free lunch is pretty much true about the stuff out there. But there is a huge amount of stuff out there that you can get for pretty much free, as long as you do some work on it. And I'm not besmirching those companies that want to go out there and sell mindfulness products, well-being products, things that will help you, life coaching, self-coaching, all that sort of stuff. Great stuff, yeah, because that means that you're investing in yourself. What I want to do is make sure that you understand what that actually means. So, mindfulness then. So to me, 3 words. So mindfulness. Okay? So mindfulness. So if you just put fullness together, so your mind is full of stuff. What's it full of? Okay? So the concept of mindfulness is about being in the moment. And it starts to spin off into a little bit of deep stuff. So just bear with me. Okay, so the only stuff that is actually in existence is now. Okay? There is no past, there is no future's not happened yet. Past has gone. So there's only this moment. And while I'm speaking to you, what I'm saying is gone. That's gone. Okay? So what mindfulness is supposed to do is about bringing you into the moment. It's about focusing on the stuff that is happening to you right now so that you check in with the now. And there's quite a few people out there that have written books about now, the now, being focused on the now, the moment, etc. But I want to sort of just clarify what actually, what actually means. It means that you are focused on this particular moment and you've managed to focus your brain. Remember the one that's got all those chattery things going on, the one that speaks to you all the time. You've got it focused on something that you have chosen to focus on. Sorry about that. So you've focused on something to take control of what's happening in your brain. Now, if you don't take control of it, then whatever runs in is what's running in and running around, etc. Now, there's a whole lot of meditation stuff where you can just go with what comes in, comes out. That takes another level of control, or giving up, etc., as the Buddhists would put it. So there's lots of stuff out there you can do. But what we're talking about is common or garden, being in the moment, mindfulness. Okay? So whether you use a simple technique like a breathing exercise. Yeah, so concentrating on your breathing, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Yeah, so just concentrating on that and trying to work out how long your breathing is. So, 5-second breath in, 10-second breath out, just concentrating. So again, occupying your mind with something that you've chosen. You can focus on your body. Yeah, you can focus on how it feels. Sitting on the chair, can you feel the chair? Can you feel, your backside sitting on the chair? Can you feel your legs pressing into the side of it? Can you feel your feet touching the floor? Can you feel your hands sat on your lap, etc.? Then that's just a whole lot of stuff checking in. Again, checking in with your body. And that's a good one, particularly if you do suffer with some of the some mental health challenges, because checking in with your body tells you how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis, which is pretty good. Sort of noticing where you might have aches and pains or stiff stuff. And I know my mum's watching now, so she's got plenty of aches and pains to check in with. So the point is, okay, particularly with the physical stuff, yeah, you can do that. Then there's the psychological or mental stuff where you can focus on something in your mind. And then again, occupying your mind, mindfulness. So you're filling your mind with stuff that you choose, okay? And it can be positive thoughts, positive times in your life, things that when you think about them, they make you smile. And again, there's a whole lot of exercises around focusing on these times in your life that you can fill your mind with over a period of time to take control, mindfulness. Yeah. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can get, like music or people speaking to you, almost like a hypnosis process, etc. Again, that brings you to the moment. That brings you into this time. Okay, but what is the focus for this mindfulness? Why is mindfulness seen as a way to make us feel better through mental health? Well, again, if you've watched the rest of the videos, I've mentioned that we've got stuff going on anyway in our head. We've got stuff going on 24/7. Our whole body runs on automatic, and particularly most of the time our brain runs on automatic as well. So we did the little exercise, or I mentioned the little exercise, some of you may have done it, about listening to what voice you've got going on in your head. Can you be positive about yourself? Listening to the things that is going on, the voices. Can you be positive about your story, or is it just a big long negative? So that's about focusing on who you are and what you are. Okay, so the idea of mindfulness is to be aware of what A, your body's doing, B, your mind is doing. Okay, so mindfulness brings us into that moment, this moment. And by bringing us into the moment, we're less likely to either fixate about the future because it hasn't happened, anxiety, okay, what types of anxiety or that sort of stuff, worrying about the future, or holding on to memories from the past. Okay, so if we're in the moment, those things aren't happening. Now, it doesn't mean to say that they don't happen, but they're not happening at that time. So the idea of mindfulness is to create a positive set of exercises or a positive process which you can follow as part of your daily practice, because we've discussed that if you're going to be positive about your mental health, you're going to take control of it and try and be the best that you can be on any particular day. It's worth investing some time in yourself. It's worth you preparing yourself. It's worth the effort to create positive mindsets, positive feelings, so that if you do hit a bump in the road, if things do not go your way and you do have some challenges because of your mental health and it starts to play on you, you're more likely to be able to recognize if there's an issue. You're more likely to be more resilient, bounce back from these sort of negative things happening in your life. You're more likely to see these things as an opportunity rather than a challenge. So the idea is that we're trying to create patterns of behavior. We're trying to create movement in our life. We're trying to create a lifestyle change, if want of another word. Yeah. So we've accepted that maybe some of the things that have happened to us in the past been really upsetting, etc. And we've gone through a process of forgiveness. And now we want to create some healing, yeah, for ourselves so that we feel better about that situation. And we want to create a different future. So mindfulness brings us into this process of being in the moment. And now it sometimes seems that some people, they only just live for the moment. That's it. They have no plans for the past, no plans for the future. Great. That's okay. But we do need to make some plans. Yeah. So we do need to make sure that we can, if we've got finances, we look after our finances. We buy food so that we've got food in the cupboards. Those sorts of things. Yeah. I'm not really talking about the day-to-day stuff about that. I'm talking about mindfulness in the fact that if we are creating a future for ourselves, what future are we creating? Because if we don't take control of our mind, if we don't practice mindfulness, if we don't practice goal setting, if we don't practice positive mindsets and positive actions to create the future, guess what? We will be creating a future anyway, irrespective of whether we take mindfulness action. We can just let the universe decide and go along with the flow. Sometimes that's the right thing to do. But if you go along with the flow, it's very much like you are a small boat at sea with some rowing oars. Yeah, so you're just sitting in the boat and you're rowing around, and your life is just bobbing around in just like a cork, being tossed around by the waves. And when it's stormy, you get a proper beating, and you've got to put your life belt on, and you might have to hang over the side, and the boat capsizes, and you're really struggling with grim death, and you're getting pushed this way and you're getting pushed that way. However, if you start to practice some of these things, so maybe something like having a goal plan, yeah, having a daily process where you're looking at your goals, gives you a cover over your boat. Okay, so you're still being tossed around, but now you've got a cover. Yeah, so when it does get really stormy, you can sort of have a bit of shelter because you've got that there. What mindfulness does, I think, for me personally, when I see it, it gives you a sail. And particularly when the weather's calm or you've got a bit of wind there, you put your sail up and it gives you direction, because your mindfulness says that I'm in the moment. I'm looking at where I am and I'm taking control of my mindset so that I can create a better me. And so then when the storms hit, we're in a different place because we've used our sail to take us to places we've not been before, and because it's our choice, the direction we're taking. So we can choose when it's stormy to maybe skip around the storms. We can choose, to go in a different direction and maybe avoid the storms. Or if we're really brave and we've got some good skills, maybe we can use our sail and maybe trim our sail slightly so that when we are in the storm, it pilots us through that storm. And we're still in the storm, we're still there, we're still taking the hits, but because we've got a bit of a sail up, a little bit of sail, we've got direction through the storm. So it normally says a few sayings there. So if you're going through hell, the best thing is to keep going. All right, don't stay where you are. Without a sail, yeah, if the storm's hitting you, you're just going to get battered until the storms decide to go away. Okay, what I'm saying is mindfulness, particularly, is about you picking some sort of direction, taking control of when the storms hit, so that you go to your trimmed sail. You've got a little bit of trim sail there, just to give you that direction on a daily basis, that focus, that process of calmness within the storm. Okay, so what I suggest, if you want to practice some mindfulness, start with maybe getting a notebook. We've done some exercises. I did mention about getting a notebook. Okay, and if you develop your practice, writing things down, for me, worked quite well. I enjoyed picking up notes, taking notes, etc. I've got a stack, probably 7 or 8, 9, of my past notebooks that I've been referring to, about the journey that I've been on, about the books that I've read, about the trainings I've been on, about the things that I've learnt, about the exercises I've completed, about things that bring me to the moment, mindfulness. Okay, and I can refer to them. But again, the mindfulness is not necessarily being totally in control of everything that is happening to you. What it is, it's about accepting that you are the cork in the sea. You are bobbing around, okay? Everything's going to happen around you. What we're doing now is equipping you so that when the storms are hitting, you've got something to do. You're not just, I'm not in control. You've got some level of control. And again, Viktor Frankl, the psychologist from the Second World War, the stuff was happening to him without any control, but his mindfulness brought him to the moment of looking at things in a different way. He pitied the guards because they had no choice how they saw things. They were just told how to act. He had a choice. And again, it's about being mindful, filling your mind with good stuff, filling your mind with wholesome stuff. And again, it may be that you want to decide to focus on changing other things in your life. So if you want mindful, you want bodyful, you want to create a healthier body, etc. Great, fantastic. But that comes from being mindful of what you're eating, being mindful of what your body feels like. Okay. So the mindfulness stuff is about really focusing the best that you can on you. Okay, because you are worth it. Okay. And again, this might be a shock to some people, but you have everything you need to have everything that you want in life already. Because it's stored up here. It's already in your mind. It's already there. All right. All you've got to do is create the goals and the set steps to release it, to do the things that will get you to where you want to be. And mindfulness is one of those things, bringing you to the moment, bringing you into this day, this particular time, looking at things. So what I suggest is go out there, okay, find what works for you, find what resonates. It might be going for a run. When I used to run, and one of the things that I've suffered with, I suppose, mindfulness for me used to be going up on the mountains and going for a run. I was involved with a long distance project 18 months ago. Yeah, and well, it was one before that actually. I was doing the Snowdonia Ultra, and I basically had an incident where I fell off the mountain and ended up getting rescued by Mountain Rescue, which is quite embarrassing because I'm Mountain Rescue in Wales. Had an injury, and then I went off and did this other long distance project, basically walking back from France with some people with a 100-kilo stretcher to represent bringing somebody back from the front line, First World War. So it was sort of a celebration of the 100 years since the First World War, to just honour those people. But I ended up getting injured, and I had to make the very difficult decision of giving up running. And running to me was not about fitness, although, you know, a little bit of fitness. Running was about being in the moment. Probably because I'm a big bloke and I've got to, where I'm walking, and particularly the Welsh mountain tracks are a bit dicey. Running was about being in the moment, about mindfulness. You had to have your wits about you. You couldn't be thinking about your shopping list or what's happening next week. You just had to be there looking at the track in front of you, one foot in front of the other, listening to your heart, you know, making sure that you're going the right way and being there in that moment. Okay, so that was one of the things I used to do. Climbing, you know, I'm an outdoor guy, would do climbing. Being in the moment, you know, you're not concentrating on anything else other than making sure that the next foothold is going to hold you. Okay, making sure the piece of gear's been placed correctly. Not like Billy, you know, gear popping out all over the place and following a daisy chain going up. I don't know if Billy's watching this, but yeah, I'll tell you a story about Billy and me climbing up in North Wales. Again, you know, being in that moment. Okay, so there was lots of things that I used to do. Journaling, you know, reading a book, being in that book, being that time, just thinking about that book, taking in the concept of what you're reading. And again, people can read a book and have no concept of what they've read. Oh, that's an interesting story. But for me, I committed to reading 10 pages a day and spent maybe 10 minutes after that writing a few notes about what those 10 pages meant. I've practiced meditation and lots of different meditations. So active meditations, passive meditations, being led meditations, listening to somebody telling you what to do, etc., and taking you through that. I've practiced self-hypnosis. I've been hypnotized. I've had a life coach. I've life coached other people. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that I've done to bring in mindfulness. Am I practicing mindfulness on a daily basis? Pretty much, yeah. Most of the time, I check in with my body most of the time. Probably because I'm doing yoga at the moment and it hurts. So yeah, checking in with the weather, checking in with what's happening around. Blackie, the blackbird family. So I didn't tell you about this, but a few days ago, I was out in the back garden, and we have a blackbird that comes into the garden, and him and his wife, they come in and sort of nibble away at food and take worms away, and often turns up, and you know, that's my bit of mindfulness. I'm watching him. I'm completely fixed on how many worms he's got in, and he's hopping around the garden, and then she comes over and starts, you know, picking things up. Great, fantastic, you know, and I knew that they were in the hedge next door, so we're in the hedge. Brilliant, fantastic. A few days ago, heard a lot of squawking and then a cat's bell tinkling, and he came out and was sitting on the ground and was doing lots of squawking and flapping and whatever. Anyway, the next day didn't see either of them, so didn't you know, think very much, and thought maybe the cat had got them. But yesterday managed to see both of them. So that, for me, again, brought me back to mindfulness, concentrating on something other than what's going on for me in my mind. So mindfulness is yes, it's popular, along with the well-being stuff, but it is the thing that will help you. One of the things that will help you, mindfulness, concentrating your energies on something that you choose, so that eventually you can switch it on whenever you like. When the negative thoughts start to come in, you can push them away. Or you can sit with the negative thoughts and not let them affect you, not let them become part and parcel of who you are, not react to them. Yeah, you can then maybe heal yourself from those negative thoughts, but it takes the effort, the time. Okay, there's no instance, there's no microwave thinking here. It's going to take time and effort for you to practice mindfulness, to maintain control of your mind so that it's empty of the other stuff and full of positive stuff, full of focus on something to take control, to calm yourself down. So you're not focusing on the past or the future. You're in the now. Okay. So that's my take on mindfulness. And I think with all mental health challenges, having a level of mindfulness, living in the moment, practicing on the moment, checking in with your body, having some way of looking at your thoughts is pretty much how most people have some sort of therapy. Okay, so that's me pretty much done with today. Okay, so tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to be talking about suicide. We're going to be talking about the aspects of suicide. We're going to be talking about I'll be giving some experience of my own experience with suicide. And again, mentioning no names or nothing personal as such, other than the fact that I will discuss my own brush with suicide as much as I can. Okay? And again, I'm giving people the opportunity to tune in if they want to, or tune out. Okay? Because this might be quite emotive for some people. This might be quite upsetting for some people. And again, the reasons why I am doing this 25 days of talking about mental health is because we're not comfortable with talking about mental health. We're not comfortable talking about the fact that people take their own life. We're not comfortable talking about that people have depression. We're not comfortable talking about anxiety, panic attacks. We're not comfortable talking about soldiers having PTSD, about policemen having PTSD. We're not comfortable with nurses coming home after a long day and bursting into tears because they're upset. So again, I'm going to be talking about suicide and bringing that to everyone's attention so that we can possibly look at some of the ways that we could help other people. We could possibly look at the ways that we can help ourselves and be aware of what could possibly go wrong and get us to a point where we feel that we've got no alternatives. So be prepared. It's going to be gritty, quite gnarly. If anybody's got anything they want to add, message me. If anybody wants to bring up anything or say anything, and I will say it for you, and it will be, anonymous, then just message me, send me a personal message, and I will anonymize whatever you want to say. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your time and your input wherever possible. I am finding this useful. I am finding that focusing on mental health over these days and providing my, whatever it is, 10 pence worth of knowledge, doing some extra research, honing my own skills, even though, I do deliver, mental health first aid, etc. You can always learn more. So focusing on that. So thank you very much. Enjoy your Friday evening. Steak and salad tonight. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to have lasagna. Okay. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow.